It is a lie.
The phone rang at 6:47 a.m. and Funmi knew her world was about to end. Her sister Bissie's name flashed on the screen. Nobody calls at dawn with good news. Bissie?
He's gone.
A sob tore through the line. He's gone, Funmi.
Baba
is dead. The phone slipped from Funmi's fingers and clattered to the floor. Her husband
What's
Tunde
wrong?
caught her as
Are
her
you
knees
okay?
buckled, but she couldn't
Talk to
feel
me.
his arms. She couldn't feel anything except the crushing
What's
weight
wrong?
of 3 words echoing in
okay?
her head. He
Talk
kept
to me.
asking for you. When? Funmi heard herself whisper. An hour ago, in his sleep. But sister, Bissie's voice cracked like dry clay. He kept saying your name. Until his last breath, he kept asking, where is Funmi? Has she come? And I had to tell him no. I had to watch him die waiting for you. The walls of Funmi's beautiful Ikoyi home pressed in on her. Every expensive piece of furniture, every symbol of her success felt like an accusation. She had built this life. She had proven she could thrive without her father's approval. And now he was gone. I killed him, she whispered. I killed my own father. Tunde held her tighter. Don't say that. If this story touched you, like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments section the country you are watching from. If you were Funmi, would you choose love, or would you honor the promise? And where are you watching from? I did. She pulled away, her eyes wild. For 12 years, Tunde. 12 years I stayed away. He had a heart attack 3 weeks ago and I made excuses. I said I was too busy. And now he's dead and I wasn't there. She collapsed to the floor, her body shaking with sobs that came from somewhere deep and ancient. Somewhere she had buried 12 years of pain and pride and stubborn anger. But to understand how a daughter could let her father die waiting for her, we must go back. Back to where it all began. Back to the village of Ife, where tradition ruled every heartbeat, and a young girl named Funmilayo was being raised to be perfect. Funmi was 7 when her father made his promise. They sat together under the mango tree in their compound, and Mr. Wale Akinyele looked at his eldest daughter with fierce determination burning in his eyes. I never went to school, Funmi, he said, his rough farmer's hands gentle on her small shoulder. I learned to read by candlelight because nobody could teach me. But I made a promise to God that day no child of mine would ever be denied what I was denied. He crouched down to her level, his face serious. You will have education. You will have choices. You will go further than I ever could. But remember this. My daughter, every blessing comes with responsibility. The more I sacrifice for you, the more you must honor that sacrifice. 7-year-old Funmi nodded solemnly, not understanding that this promise would one day become a chain. The years passed like pages in a book. Funmi became brilliant, the pride of the village, the girl who would go far. Her father pushed her with military precision. Her mother, Ronka, sold vegetables in the market and gave every coin for school fees. Her younger sisters, Falaka and Abimbola, watched their eldest sister with admiration and envy. Excellence wasn't optional in the Adarabioyo household. It was survival. But excellence came with a price. Funmi didn't know she was paying. When she turned 12, her father called her to sit with him again under that same mango tree. Funmi, you are becoming a woman, he began, his voice heavy with something that felt like both love and loss. As your father, I must secure your future. I have a friend, Akinola Adewale, a good man. His son Sun is being raised well. The words hit Funmi like cold water. But Baba, I don't know him. You will know him, her father said firmly. Love comes with time. I have given my word to his family. This is how we honor our children, by protecting their future before the world can harm them. That night, lying on her mat, 12-year-old Funmi made a silent vow. I will be so excellent that I will have choices. She didn't know that vow would one day break her father's heart. By the time Funmi reached university in Lagos, she had become everything her father dreamed: brilliant, accomplished, beautiful. But she had also become something he feared: independent. University of Lagos was freedom in concrete form. Away from the village's watchful eyes, Funmi could finally breathe. Her roommate Sade introduced her to a world beyond duty and expectation. You're too serious, Funmi, Sade laughed. Life is not just books and obligations. At a literature society debate, Funmi met a young man called Tunde Adeyemi, confident, intelligent, from a wealthy Lagos family. He argued that tradition should guide, not control. She argued that duty was sacred. Their debate became coffee. Coffee became conversations. Conversations became something neither had planned. "You're extraordinary," Tunde told her one evening by the campus lagoon. "Are you promised or were you promised?" Tunde asked gently. "There's a difference." That question changed everything. For 3 years, Funmi lived a double life. In Lagos, she was Tunde's girlfriend, laughing, free, choosing her own path. During holidays in Ife, she was the dutiful daughter, listening to her father talk about Sun, about the wedding that would surely happen once she graduated. The guilt ate at her, like termites in wood, invisible but destructive. 2 weeks after Tunde's parents invited her to dinner, Professor David and Professor Oluremi Adeyemi welcomed her with genuine warmth. "Our son loves you," Professor Oluremi said kindly. "We support this completely. But we also respect family. Let us go with you to speak to your father. Let us make a formal appeal." Funmi's hands shook. "You don't know my father? Then let us try to know him," Tunde urged. "We can't build our future on secrets, Funmi." The drive to Ife felt like a journey to the gallows. Mr. Akinyele stood in his compound like a warrior ready for battle, arms crossed, face carved from stone. Professor David approached with respect. "Sir, we have come because your daughter has become important to our family. We understand you have made arrangements, but we ask that you reconsider. Our son and Funmi love each other. We would welcome her completely." "Funmi, 10 gr. Reconsider?" Her father's voice was dangerously quiet. "Reconsider a promise made to a trusted friend. Reconsider the honor I gave my word to protect." He turned to Funmi, and she saw something terrible in his eyes, betrayal mixed with grief. "Do you know what I sacrificed for you?" His voice rose like thunder. "How many nights I went hungry so you could have school fees. How I wore 2 shirts for years so you could have books. And this is how you repay me, by letting these Lagos people poison your mind against your own family." "Baba, please." Funmi started, but he cut her off. "I gave my word. In this village, a man's word is all he has. You will marry Sun as planned, or you will cease to be my daughter." The compound went silent. Even the birds stopped singing. Funmi stood up, tears streaming down her face, but her voice was steady. "No, Baba." "What did you say?" "I said no. I will not marry Sun. I cannot marry someone I don't love just to protect your pride." Her father's face went pale. "If you walk out that door, if you choose this path, you are choosing to walk away from this family. From me. Do you understand?" Funmi looked at the man who had given her everything: education, opportunity, the chance to become somebody. The man who loved her so fiercely it felt like chains. "I understand, Baba," she whispered, "and I am sorry. So sorry." Then she walked out the door, leaving behind everything she had ever known. Behind her, she heard a sound that would haunt her dreams for years. Her father's voice, thick with tears, saying her name one final time. "Funmi." But she kept walking, her back straight, her heart breaking, telling herself this was freedom. She didn't know it was also the beginning of her greatest regret. 2 months after that terrible confrontation, wedding preparations began. Tunde's family moved forward with kindness and determination. Professor Oluremi took Funmi shopping for wedding fabrics. Professor David handled the venue arrangements. But there was a gaping hole in every plan: Funmi's family. Her mother called one evening, her voice heavy with exhaustion. "Funmi, your father has made an oath before the elders. He says he will not approve this marriage. He says anyone who wants to support the wedding can go ahead. But as for him, as the head of this family, he will not give his blessing." Funmi's chest tightened. "Mommy, what does that mean?" "It means I must stand in his place, my daughter. The elders have agreed to represent our family since your father refuses." "But Funmi," her mother's voice cracked. "A wedding without the father, it is not complete. People will talk. They already are talking." "Let them talk," Funmi said, trying to sound braver than she felt. He won't even collect the bride price, Ronka continued, tears evident in her voice. Tunde's father came with the elders to present it properly, and your father locked himself in his room. He said his daughter's bride price is not for sale. That if we proceed without his blessing, we proceed without his participation. Every word was a knife. The traditional engagement ceremony happened without him. Funmi's mother stood in his place, wearing a forced smile that couldn't hide her pain. The village elders, uncles and family friends sat where her father should have sat, collecting the gifts, speaking the traditional words, performing the rituals. But everyone knew. Everyone felt the absence like a missing tooth, impossible to ignore. 3 days before the wedding, Ronka made one final attempt. Funmi wasn't there to see it, but her mother told her later how she had knelt before her husband, tears streaming down her face, begging him to reconsider. "Wale, please, I am not asking you to be happy about this. I am not asking you to celebrate. I am only asking you to show your face at your firstborn daughter's wedding, just your presence. That is all." Mr. Akinyele had turned away, his voice cold as stone. "I gave my word to the Adewale family. I will not stand before God and man pretending to bless something that breaks my honor. If Funmi wants this marriage, she can have it. But she will have it without me. She is still your daughter," Ronki cried. "Your own flesh and blood. She stopped being my daughter the moment she chose that Lagos boy over her family's honor," he said, and walked out of the room. Ronka called Funmi that night, sobbing. "I tried, my daughter. God knows I tried, but his heart is stone. I'm so sorry, I will be there. Your sisters will be there. But your father—" "I understand, Mami," Funmi said, though she didn't understand at all. How could love look so much like rejection? How could a father choose pride over his own child? The wedding day arrived. Funmi stood in a white dress, looking beautiful and completely empty inside. Her father was not there. Tunde's parents had spared no expense. The venue was elegant, filled with well-wishers. But as Funmi walked down the aisle on Professor David's arm because her own father refused to come, she felt the absence like a physical wound. During the reception, she saw them, her mother and sisters, hidden at the edge of the crowd, afraid to be seen. "Mami," Funmi gasped, pulling them into an embrace. Ronka's eyes were red from crying. "We couldn't miss your wedding. But Funmi, your father wanted to come. I know he did. But his pride—" "Where is he?" Funmi asked, even though she knew the answer. "Home, alone, refusing to eat, refusing to speak." Something hardened in Funmi's chest that day, a small, cold stone where hope had been. "If he can't even come to my wedding," she thought bitterly, "then what do I owe him?" The years passed like water through fingers, easy to notice flowing, impossible to hold back. Funmi threw herself into building her new life. She became the most dedicated teacher in her school, then head of department, then principal, the youngest ever. Tunde's architecture firm flourished. They moved to a bigger house in Ikeja. They looked successful. They looked happy. But underneath, Funmi carried her father's absence like a stone in her pocket, always there, always heavy. Her mother would call occasionally. "Your father asks about you," Ronka would say carefully. "He won't admit it, but he does. If he wants to talk, he can call," Funmi would reply, knowing he never would. Pride on both sides built a wall between them, brick by silent brick. When her sister Bisi got married 2 years later, Funmi attended dressed in her finest clothes, driving her nice car, carrying her success like armor. And there was her father. He laughed freely at Bisi's wedding. He danced. He ate with obvious joy, sharing food and stories with guests. He was warm, present, alive with happiness. He was everything he hadn't been at Funmi's wedding. The contrast was like a knife between her ribs. So he's capable of joy, she thought bitterly. Just not for me. Their eyes met across the crowded compound, father and daughter, seeing each other for the first time in 2 years. For a moment, time stopped. Was that longing in his eyes? Regret? Love? Funmi wanted to run to him, wanted to fall into his arms and make everything right. But pride held them both in place, like invisible chains. Then someone blocked her view, and when she looked again, he had turned away. Funmi left early, making excuses. In the car, Tunde drove in silence while his wife stared out the window, her reflection showing a woman who was winning at life but losing at something more important. That night, in the darkness of their bedroom, Funmi made a vow. I will never go back to that village again. If he can replace me with BC's happiness so easily, then I can live without him too. It was a vow born of pain, of self-protection, of the desperate need to control a heart that felt like it was bleeding out. It was also a vow that would cost her more than she ever imagined. 3 years later, her mother called with trembling voice. Funmi, your father has had a heart attack. A mild one, the doctors say. But he's getting older. He's not as strong. I think you should come. Funmi sat at her office desk, surrounded by student files and administrative work, and felt the world tilt. How serious is it? He's recovering. But Funmi, her mother's voice broke. He kept saying your name when he was in pain. Where is Funmi? Tell Funmi. Please, my daughter. Don't you think it's time? Funmi's calendar sat open before her, packed with meetings, evaluations, important responsibilities, all of them more important than a father who had rejected her, who had chosen his precious pride over his own daughter. Mommy, I can't right now. The school is in evaluation season. Tell him I'm glad he's okay. Tell him I'll visit soon, I promise. The silence on the other end was heavier than words. Okay, Funmi, her mother said finally. I'll tell him. But they both knew she wouldn't visit. Not soon. Maybe not ever. After hanging up, Funmi sat very still. Her secretary knocked, reminding her about the next meeting. Funmi stood up, straightened her blouse, and walked out to face her responsibilities. She didn't cry. She didn't call back. She just continued. Because continuing was easier than confronting. Moving forward was easier than looking back. 3 more weeks passed. 3 weeks during which her father recovered, got stronger, began moving around again. 3 weeks during which time was running out, and she didn't even know it. Mrs. Adebayo, Funmi's colleague, caught her after class one day. Funmi, can I tell you something? You remind me of Okonkwo from Things Fall Apart. Funmi stiffened. Excuse me? Not in a bad way, Mrs. Adebayo said quickly. Just, you're both so strong, so certain. But sometimes I wonder, do you ever let yourself bend? Or are you waiting for something to break? That night, the conversation haunted Funmi. Was she too rigid? Too proud? Tunde found her staring out the window. What are you thinking about? My father, she admitted. Do you think I should have gone to see him? After the heart attack? Tunde was quiet for a long moment. I think, he said carefully, that time is the one thing we never get back. And sometimes, by the time we're ready to fix things, it's already too late. Are you saying I'm running out of time? I'm saying none of us know how much time we have. But Funmi pushed the thought away. Her father was strong. He had always been strong. There would be time. Later. When she was ready. She was wrong. The call came at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. And by the time Funmi answered it, time had already run out. BC's tear-stained face filled the video call screen. Sister, he's gone. Baba is dead. He died in his sleep. His heart just stopped. The phone slipped from Funmi's fingers. Dead. Her father was dead. And she hadn't been there. When? Funmi choked out, grabbing the phone again. About an hour ago. Mami woke up, and he was just gone. Peaceful. But sister, BC wiped her eyes. Yesterday at dinner, he asked about you. He asked if you had called when you might visit. Mami told him you were busy with work. He just nodded and said, Funmi is doing important things. I am proud of her. A sound came out of Funmi that she didn't recognize, half sob, half wail. It was the sound of a heart breaking, of 12 years of stubborn pride crashing down like a house of cards. He was proud of me, she whispered. And I never told him I was proud of him too. I never said thank you. I never said I'm sorry. I never said I love you. Tunde held her as she shook violently, finally releasing all the grief she had been holding back. The funeral is Saturday, Bissy said quietly. Will you come this time, sister? The question was like a knife. Will you come this time? This time, when it was too late to matter. I'll be there, Funmi promised through her tears. I'll be there. The drive to Ife was the longest journey of Funmi's life. As they approached the village, panic rose in her chest. I can't do this, Tunde. They all know what I did. They know I stayed away. One moment at a time, Tunde said calmly. Just breathe. The compound was full of mourners. And there, in the doorway, stood her mother, aged by grief, bent under the weight of loss. When their eyes met, Funmi stumbled out of the car and ran. She fell into her mother's arms like a child. Mami, I'm sorry. I should have come. I should have been here. Ronka held her daughter tightly, stroking her hair. You're here now, Omomi. Come. Come and say goodbye. She led Funmi into the house, through relatives who parted silently. Some faces showed sympathy, others showed judgment. All watched. In the main room, laid out on a simple platform, was her father's body. Mr. Wale Akinyele looked smaller in death than he had in life. All his fierce presence, his commanding authority gone, leaving behind only stillness. Funmi approached slowly, legs shaking. When she was close enough to see his face, peaceful, finally at rest, her knees buckled. She fell beside the platform, reaching for his hand. His hand was cold. That coldness broke something in her that had somehow remained intact through everything else. Baba, she whispered, tears streaming. I'm here. I'm finally here. I'm sorry it took me so long. I'm sorry I was so stubborn. I'm sorry I let my pride keep me away. The words poured out like confession, like prayer, like the conversation she should have had when it might have mattered. You were right about so much, but I forgot that being right isn't worth being alone. I forgot that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. She pressed her forehead against his cold hand. Thank you for everything you gave me. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for loving me even when I walked away. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Behind her, she heard others crying, her mother, her sisters, relatives moved by her grief. Then her mother placed something in her hands, a folded piece of paper, worn soft from handling. He wrote this 3 days ago, Ronka said quietly. He said, when Funmi comes and she will come, give her this. With shaking hands, Funmi unfolded the letter. Her father's careful, precise handwriting blurred through her tears. My daughter Funmilayo, if you are reading this, then I am gone, and you have finally come home. I wish I could have seen you one more time, but God's timing is His own. I was wrong. I could never say it in life, so I say it now in death. I was wrong to try to control your future. Wrong to choose my promise over your happiness. Wrong to let you walk away rather than bend. But understand, my wrongness came from love. I saw such potential in you, such brilliance. I wanted to protect you from mistakes, from pain. I forgot that sometimes the only way to truly learn is to choose your own path. You chose love. You chose Tunde. Your mother tells me you are happy, that you have become a principal, that you are respected. This brings me joy, even if I was too proud to tell you while I lived. I should have come to your wedding. That is my greatest regret. Not the broken promise to the Adewale family, they forgave me eventually. My greatest regret is that I let you believe, even for one day, that my pride was more important than you. Nothing is more important than you, Funmi. Nothing ever was. Do not make my mistakes, my daughter. When life offers you the chance to love, to forgive, to reconcile, take it. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Time runs out faster than we think. I love you, Funmilayo. I loved you until my last breath, and I will love you wherever my spirit has gone. Live well, my daughter. Live without regret. Your proud and foolish father, Wale Akinyele. By the time Funmi finished reading, she was sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. He forgave me. She wept into her mother's arms. He loved me. And I never got to tell him the same. He knew, Ronke said firmly. But Funmi would spend the rest of her life wondering, hoping, praying that was true. The funeral passed in a blur. But one moment stood out crystal clear. The village elder, Uncle Gabenga, pulled Funmi aside during the burial. Your father asked me to tell you something, if you came. What? He said, "Tell Funmi that a good tree bears good fruit. She is my fruit, and I died knowing I succeeded." Those were his words. Funmi closed her eyes, new tears spilling. As they lowered the casket into the ground, Funmi finally understood what her father had been trying to teach her. That love and discipline, freedom and duty, tradition and progress, none were enemies. They were meant to balance each other. But she had learned this lesson too late. And now she would carry both the wisdom and the regret for the rest of her life. 1 year after her father's death, Funmi's 14-year-old niece, Folktales, came to visit. Bisi had called, worried. "She's becoming rebellious, sister," talking back, saying she wants to move to Lagos for university, even though we want her close. She thinks she knows everything. Can you talk to her? When Folktales arrived, Funmi saw herself at 14 bright, determined, dreaming of life beyond what her parents had planned. They spent days getting to know each other. Then one evening Folktales said, "Aunt Funmi, my mother says you didn't talk to Grandpa for 12 years, that you weren't there when he died. The truth." Spoken in a child's blunt voice. "That's right," Funmi said quietly. "I wasn't there. Do you regret it?" "Every single day of my life." Folktales looked confused. "But you got to marry who you wanted. You got to choose your own life. Isn't that what matters?" "Can I tell you a story?" Funmi asked. "The whole story?" And she did. For 2 hours, Funmi spoke. She told Folktales about the village, about her father's sacrifices, about the arranged marriage, about meeting Tunde, about the choice she made. But she didn't make it simple. She showed the complexity, the love on both sides, the mistakes on both sides, the stubbornness that cost them both so dearly. "Your grandfather wasn't wrong to want to protect me," Funmi said. "He knew how hard the world could be. The arranged marriage was security in his mind. He wasn't trying to control me out of cruelty. He was trying to love me the only way he knew how. But he was still controlling you," Folktales pointed out. "Yes, and that was wrong. But I was also wrong, Folktales. I could have fought for my choice without cutting him off completely. I could have kept calling, kept visiting, kept reaching out even when he was cold to me. I could have gone when he had the heart attack instead of making excuses." Tears streamed down Funmi's face. "I thought I was teaching him a lesson that he couldn't control me, that I didn't need his approval. But the only lesson I taught was that pride is more important than love. And that lesson cost me 12 years with my father, 12 years I can never get back." Folktales was quiet. "What was the hardest part?" "Reading his letter and realizing he had forgiven me, had wanted to reconcile, but I had stayed away too long. Knowing he died waiting for me." Funmi took her niece's hands. "Folktales, you remind me so much of myself. You're smart, strong-willed, full of dreams. That's good, but please, learn from my mistakes. Fight for your dreams, yes. Stand up for yourself, absolutely. But don't let pride build walls between you and the people who love you. But what if they're wrong? Then you tell them they're wrong. You explain your perspective. You set boundaries. But you do it with love. Because here's what I learned too late. You can be right and still lose everything that matters." Funmi pulled out the worn letter and let Folktales read it. When the girl finished, tears rolled down her cheeks. "He really loved you." "He did, and I loved him. But we were both too proud to bend. 12 years, Folktales. 12 years of holidays we didn't share, conversations we didn't have. And for what? So we could both be right." Funmi wiped her eyes. "Your mother loves you. Don't spend years punishing her for that love just because it doesn't look the way you want it to. Talk to her. Find compromises. Because one day, she won't be here, and you'll have to live with whatever you didn't say, whatever you didn't fix, while you still had the chance." Folktales was crying. "I don't want to make your mistakes, Aunt Funmi." "Then don't. Learn from mine instead. That's why I'm telling you this story." After that conversation, something shifted in Funmi. She realized her father's death had given her something, a story that could help others avoid the same pain. She started sharing her experiences openly. Students dealing with family problems heard her story. She created a mentorship program for family conflicts. 3 years after her father's death, she published a book, The Weight of Pride, A Daughter's Journey. It became a bestseller because people saw themselves in it. Your story saved my family, people told her. My daughter and I hadn't spoken in years. After reading your book, I called her. We're rebuilding now. I was cutting off my father for trying to control my life. Your story made me see he was just scared. We're talking now. Each testimony healed something in Funmi's wounded heart. Her pain had purpose, her mistakes had meaning. And through it all, Folktales became her protégé, now 17, helping share the story, running campaigns about family reconciliation. Aunt Funmi, Folktales said one day, do you think Grandpa knows about how his story is helping people? Funmi smiled through tears. I believe he does. The greatest inheritance a parent can leave isn't money, it's wisdom. His wisdom, learned through our pain, is now being passed on. That's a legacy worth having. 5 years after her father's death, Funmi returned to his grave on the anniversary. She knelt beside the simple marker and placed fresh flowers. Baba, she said aloud, I've come to tell you some things. First, thank you for every sacrifice, every lesson, every moment of love. Second, I'm sorry for being stubborn, for staying away, for wasting years we could have spent healing. Third, I forgive you for the arranged marriage, for the wedding you didn't attend. I understand now you were doing your best, just like I was. The wind rustled through the trees. And finally, I'm living well, just like you asked. I'm using my pain to help others. I'm sharing our story so other families can avoid our mistakes. I'm trying to make you proud. She placed her hand on the grave marker. I love you, Baba. Until we meet again, rest in peace. Your daughter is okay. That evening, Funmi received a text from Folktales, now preparing for university. Just talked to Mummy, told her I love her and I'm grateful for everything. She cried. Thank you for teaching me it's never wrong to say I love you. Funmi smiled through her tears. There it was. The lesson learned. The cycle broken. The healing beginning. She picked up her father's letter, still her most treasured possession, and read his final words one more time. Live well, my daughter. Live freely. Live happily. Live without regret. I'm trying, Baba, she whispered to the sunset. I'm finally trying. Pride is not strength. True strength is the ability to bend without breaking, to admit wrong, to reach out even when ego says stay distant. Time is not infinite. We say tomorrow and later, and when I'm ready. But tomorrow is not promised. If you have words to say, words of love, of forgiveness, say them today. Parents and children both make mistakes. Parents try to control what they should guide. Children reject what they should honor. Both sides need grace. Unforgiveness is poison we drink, hoping it will hurt the other person. But it only poisons us. Every day we carry anger is a day we lose to bitterness. Pain can have purpose. Funmi's greatest regret became her greatest teaching tool. Your pain can be transformed too. And this truth above all, no matter how far you've walked away, no matter how many years have passed, no matter how high the wall of pride, it is never too late to reach out. To say, I'm sorry. To say, I love you. To say, can we start again? It's never too late. Until it is. Funmi learned too late to save her relationship with her father, but she learned in time to save countless others. And perhaps, through her story, she has saved yours. If this story touched your heart, close this video right now. Pick up your phone. Call that person your mother, your father, your child, whoever pride has kept you from. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It will never come. Don't wait until you're ready. You'll never feel ready. Just reach out, today. Now. If this story touched you, like this video, subscribe and tell us in the comments section the country you are watching from. And remember, a broken relationship is like broken pottery. Sometimes it can be mended, sometimes it cannot. But even broken pottery can be ground into powder and mixed with clay to make something new. Nothing is wasted if we learn from it. Live with love. Forgive quickly. Pride is expensive, and some prices are too high to pay.